What do you make, Heidi, of Sarah Palin going down this road, playing the race card, claiming that the Obamas were in a pew, were claiming that Jeremiah Wright's not American and is a racist? What do you make of it? Why is she going down this road?
They were in Jeremiah Wright's church for 20 years, and they listened to what he said, his anti-American rants, his anti-white people rants. They listened to them. I don't know if they were in every single time he made the same statements that everybody saw many times on YouTube and things like that. But the fact is they sat there in that congregation for all those years. If you don't agree with it, eventually you leave. Most people leave churches because they disagree with what's taught from the pulpit. Obama didn't do that till the pressure was on. He was running for office. I mean, that's a fact.
Todd?
And that's not the whole focus of Sarah Palin's book, I'm sure. I haven't read it yet, but I'm sure that's not it.
Does it seem to you, Heidi, like she's got a problem with race?
That Sarah Palin has a problem with race?
Yeah.
No, I don't think Sarah Palin is, but I think Michelle Obama has got a score to settle. That's what I see when I see Michelle Obama.
Look, I think she obviously she's trying to appeal to a very small fringe minority of the conservative base that may have a problem with race and that may have some appeal to this. What astounds me is the intellectual disconnect here between, on the one hand, conservatives have been pushing the fact that this guy, that our president, is a Muslim, and on the other hand, that he spent 20 years as a disciple in a UCC congregation. So that's that fundamental disconnect of conservatives pushing both of those storylines don't match up. But for a long time, Sarah Palin talked about how family members and spouses were off limits, that we should be focusing only on the candidates themselves. And now she's coming out and selling a book and goes after
what about that,
Michelle
Heidi?
Obama, who's got, as Hillary Shelton said, a 65% approval rating. Sarah Palin, on the other hand, is stuck at 39%. So I think Michelle Obama has a better chance of being our next president than Sarah Palin.
Well, Michelle Obama is not a child. I agree with Sarah Palin. You shouldn't go after the kids, but look how they're still going after Bristol Palin, and America's basically giving the finger to everybody by voting for her on Dancing with the Stars, which I love. 5 million people tuned in to watch Sarah Palin's show last week. Everybody loves the Palins. You guys on the left can't stand it. How much America loves the Palins.
39% of the country approves of Sarah Palin. 50% of the country disapproves of
Yeah, but
Sarah Palin.
It doesn't matter. You know why? Because they all watch her and everything she says.
Heidi, are you calling that program? Are you calling in voting for her?
You know what?
Got all her listeners calling in.
I am not voting for her.
Keeps winning.
I love Bristol Palin. I think she's a tough girl, and I think it's great. I have not voted for her because I don't even know how to do it.
Todd, I think she's voted for her. I think she's voted for her,
She's
Todd.
got all of her listeners voting.
All right, here we go. The Republican chairman of the House Transportation Committee says that we can fix these problems at the airport, that we won't have any more pictures like this where a guy's working over another guy's crotch to make sure he's not going to blow up an airplane. Okay? So we've got that. But it's privatizing it. How is privatization going to change anything at the airport, Heidi?
Well, I don't know that it will change a lot at the airport, and the guy in Orlando who wants to do it has said that he's not sure how much it will change, but I don't think government makes anything better, and I'm not sure we're any safer
so
with
we
all
ought to
these
scrap the
pat-downs.
TSA?
Should we scrap the TSA? No, you know what I think? If it were a perfect world, I think the airlines should each be responsible for their own security, for their own passengers. And I know that would be difficult to do logistically with people taking different airlines.
Yeah, it would put them out of business.
Well, I don't know that it would, but I think it would be the best approach. If you ask me, that's what I'd like to see done.
So you want privatization.
Heidi,
go ahead, Todd.
Hold on a second. But Heidi, we did that in this country for decades. We leased out, or we bid out airline security to the lowest bidder, to the private contractors, and we had that system in place for decades until 2001, when 19 terrorists hijacked 4 airplanes and flew them into buildings. At that point, Congress stepped in and said, you know what, maybe private contractors, maybe the low bid system that we have in place for airline security is not the best way to protect and to secure our airlines. Let's have a professional and a federal workforce that will make sure that we screen these passengers and make sure that our flights are safe and secure.
Well, the brilliant people who are in charge of these things now let Abdul Muttalib get on a plane in Amsterdam with no passport, paying cash, and no luggage. Now, that will stop people a lot better than having naked pictures of me in bad light. That's the last thing I think we need, and I don't think it's making anybody safer.
Okay, let's go to the next subject, and that, of course, is Rand Paul. His supporter, the stomper, Tim Profit, has pleaded not guilty. Have you seen the videotape, Heidi?
Yeah, I've seen the videotape.
Okay. What do you make? I mean, why doesn't he just say he's guilty and get it over with?
I don't know. Why didn't that guy in Connecticut plead guilty to killing those women and then beating the husband half to death? I don't know. I mean, everybody pleads not guilty. Isn't that normally what people do here in America?
Well, his lawyer said that he was doing what he thought was necessary. Todd?
Well, I mean, look, ultimately a judge is going to look at this. He's going to look at the videotape. Where I come from, if you hit a woman, then you're a scumbag and a coward. But I think that what this case illustrates is the bigger problem that we have in this country with violent rhetoric, encouraging and fomenting violence among some fragile supporters, probably on both sides. But this guy, I think, was doing what he thought he should do. He would be Charles Bronson and beat up and be a vigilante of this poor woman. And I think during the health care debate, you saw the same thing. You saw Freedom Works and Dick Armey whipping up a frenzy, and you saw a 300% increase in the number of death threats against members of Congress. So I think violent rhetoric does have real-time consequences.
Todd Webster, Heidi Harris, good to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.